Okay, number one, goal is to be able to play the whole thing at 200, no faster than 200. Want to make sure that you stay at a speed you can absolutely do, but it's definitely going to be tough to stay accurate at 200 as long as this thing goes, and while the chord progression progressively gets more difficult because of how you got to jump around the fretboard. So what you could do for a challenge at the end of the week is just try it with the metronome. Maybe do that for the video. Just try it at the 200 with only the click. So using Guitar Pro's percentage feature, great idea. Make sure you can play it at 50%, then 60%, 70%, and so on. So I'm going to start off by playing along with the click, only the click, at 100. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try it at 150 next. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you notice I'm really bobbing my head. Really got to do it because I'm not tapping my foot every single time. I'm doing it on the first and third when I'm playing that fast. So just really bobbing the head and just making sure those are synced up, the head and the pick and hand and all that. Very, very helpful to do so. All right, number two, working it up the standard way we do. Let me change some stuff here. All right. So yes, that means play the previous two bars again. So basically you play that twice, and then you play this twice. And yeah, if you want to have the subdivision going where you have the eighth notes, totally fine. Not a bad idea either. In fact, let's demonstrate it that way, just so you have an example. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's loud enough. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. $160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that was a bad change. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, wrong. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another bad chord change. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll stop there. Add the repeats in now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I do have the next theory stuff ready to go. Triads, inversions. So, let me change this. There we go. First inversion. So, first inversion, basically, you had your 1, 3, 5. And think of it like just going like around in a circle or a triangle. It's just like 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. So that's the order it goes in. So when you start on a different note or a different note number in there and still go around the same order, that's an inversion. So instead of going 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, we're going to go 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. The second inversion would be starting on the 5 and going 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. So, hopefully that makes sense. Like voice, and this is the way I was taught about voicings and inversions. Inversions, you basically have all the intervals in order still, and then you just kind of start with a different note or a different interval instead of the root notes and still go around the same order, which is what this first inversion is here. And a voicing is where you jumble up the intervals. So like a chord like this, like that A minor chord, that's a voicing because we go 1, 5, 1, flat 3, 5, 1. So 1, 5, 1, then the flat 3, and so on. So it mixes it up a bit. It jumbles things. Although I have seen people refer to inversions as just saying, taking one of the notes besides the root note and just putting it in the bass. So, again, how I was taught is what I just explained. The inversion, they're still like in order, just kind of starting in the middle and going around the same order of notes. Anyway, so we got here, you have C major, over E. So C over E, that's what that's saying. Basically, the chord that you know, the C major chord, or D minor, E minor, F major, and so on. Chord, so what's on the left of that slash, that's the chord. That's the main thing. So basically, you can have a chord, any chord, and then you have that little slash there, and then a new bass note. Bass note. The bass note and the root note are not always the same. So you can have a different bass note for anything. So even like you strum this here, you know, your C chord, but then you put this here, you can say this is a C major chord over a G sharp. It's not going to sound very pretty, but you can do it. So there's your C major. Now I'm going to put a G sharp underneath it, so it would be a C major over, because it's on top of it, C major over G sharp. Doesn't sound very nice. But we can do a G, C major over G. That sounds okay, because G is part of the chord. You can also do a G, F sharp, F, or a C over F sharp. Anyway, so you can have a chord over anything at all. In this case, we happen to be using notes that are in that chord shape. So a chord name like this is being extra specific. It's like really letting the reader know what's going on here. So your C major chord consists of C, E, and G, right? C, E, G. So that would be the 1, 3, 5. So if we change the order of it and we start in the middle, we'd have E, G, C, which is how that one on screen is stacked up. E, G, C. So instead of going in this order, we're going to start here and then put the C on top. We're just starting over here for that. So C major over E, D minor over F, same thing down here, E minor over G, F major over A, G major over B, A minor over C, and the B diminished over D. So just kind of go through arpeggiating these chords any which way. You can go back and forth like that, that's fine. Just get familiar with how it sounds, how it looks. And then, what you're going to do is take all that, everything that's on the E string, or starting on the E string right now, you can move it up to the A string. Start it there. So the Roman numerals are already in place so to tell you where to go. But yeah, you're going to write everything else out again. Same notes. You'll be starting in a different place because you have to, because it's the same notes. But yeah, same chords from here. You're going to start it on the A string. And then you'll do the same thing starting on the D string. And then one more time starting on the G string. So just like we did with these chords, we moved them up here. And we then moved it up here. And so on. So hopefully that makes sense. But of course, if you have any questions, let me know. So all the chord names should auto-generate correctly if you tab it out right. Yes, indeed. All right, any questions, let me know. I will see you again next week.